Kevin Lee's going to take on Charles Oliveira. That's going to happen in Brazil. If you're using a talking point, that could be relevant, right? I mean, that's where Oliveira is from. Oliveira sure appears to be on fire, too. And I feel like he gets a little bit of a bad rap. He's had two careers from my vantage point. His first career was he came over and he was extremely skilled and extremely nervous. He was testing the waters and his dream has come true, but it comes with pressures and am I good enough? And he needed to have just a little bit of time to work through that and realize the answer. The answer turned out to be yes. But some of these other moments had already happened and they were caught on film, and it takes a little bit while to come back. Oliveira is now in the discussion for title shots. And I understand he's not going to get one next. I get that he's not next in line, but he's not being discussed. And at 155 pounds, when you got the Kevin Lees and the Justin Gaethjes of the world, you got the Conor McGregors of the world, and even between those three guys, they can't seem to figure it out. You got the Felders of the world, you've got the Khabibs and the Tonys. I mean, to be in the discussion and to have your name thrown out there, like Oliveira has and you're in a really good spot. Now, bringing Kevin Lee, this fight caught me a little bit off guard. I didn't know these guys had any kind of heat. I personally thought the match for Kevin Lee was against Gaethje, to do it on the night that Khabib's going to fight Tony. Now, whether Kevin was going to get that fight or not and get put in that position to ultimately be one of the guys in the batter's box to get pulled up in case something happens in the main event, I think that's a different discussion, but I thought he probably should have started lining himself up for that. That's how I saw it. That would have been my little chess move there if I was Team Kevin Lee. But Kevin was then, through the powers of social media, getting into it with Islam Makhachev. And Kevin was so committed to the idea of fighting Islam and letting him know, I'm the one guy that's not afraid of you. He was even talking about going to Russia to do the fight. Now, to my understanding, Russia's not even on the card. I would give you a full prediction that they were going to return to Russia. That's not what I'm saying. But to go and pick a fight with a guy in a location that you guys decide on that doesn't match up with the current schedule, I just thought everything was a little disorganized there. I want to grab Kevin and just pull him back a little bit. And Kevin, you're a smart guy. You're a very, very smart guy in the sport, but this one's not making sense and it's not adding up. Slow down. This was my own opinion. I got no problem with you in Islam. Whatever your problem is with Islam, the good news in this sport, that we got a way to solve it. There's just different times to do it. As great as Islam is, as much as Islam's name is growing, he's not on the same platform as Kevin Lee right now. He's just not. So wait, Kevin, this isn't your job to pull Islam up. It's Islam's job to get there. So let him do his job. Kevin, you hold on. Let him go do his job. You've done your part. Okay. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Charles Oliveira is involved. I didn't see that coming, but I'm into the matchup. I'm into the parity. I'm into the X's and O's of this thing. And if that's going to be a fight in Brazil, I am curious where that fits on to the card. If they're going to Brazil to do a pay-per-view, okay, great. It's not going to be the main event, which means it's not going to be 5 rounds. But 5 rounds with Kevin versus Oliveira it's a totally different breakdown. It's a totally different assessment because Kevin Lee, I prefer him in 3-round fights. I don't know that he would agree with me, but I prefer his athleticism to put his foot down on the gas and sprint. I just think he's more fun to watch. I think he's a little faster. I think he's a little more explosive. I just like that. Most athletes, if they got to add it for 10 minutes, I mean, that just makes good sense that you extend it. I like him from a viewership standpoint watching it in that quicker atmosphere. I think that Oliveira is one of these guys that likes to get warmed up, but I find him to be a fast starter as well. I do. When I say get warmed up and being a fast starter, it might take him 60 seconds. But he's going to do some of his finer works in minutes 2 through 5. Right? He's going to have some of his brighter and slicker moments. In fact, that's one of the parts of Charles Oliveira that has changed as the Oliveira story has changed. He's found a way to stay calmer longer. He's found a way to get more done over an extended period of time. But I would still argue for you, he likes it right off the bat, particularly if he can catch you in something and catch you when you're dry. He's getting pretty reckless with his hands and feet out there, and I mean reckless in a complimentary way. You guys will remember Verdum and the way that Verdum would fight. But Verdum would be so reckless on his feet, so wide open, to things that nobody else would do because they would get caught and dumped and someone would close the distance and take him down. Verdum is daring you at all times. Take me down. I dare you to take me down. Here, I'm going to spin around, and you can either grab me and take me down or not, and I'm going to elbow you right in the face, but these are your two options. And a lot of guys fell for it. They'd fall for it on their feet with Verdum, and all of a sudden they're getting hit with spinning punches and kicks to the head, or they grab him and take him down, and they end up getting an arm taken home. I mean, it was one of these things, but Oliveira's got a similar skill set. He just didn't know it. Now that Oliveira is finding out how well his ground game works and how slick some of his submission skills are, he's becoming more reckless on his feet, a little bit more wide open. I think when you're fighting a guy as smart and tactical as Kevin Lee, who's as good on the ground and is happy to start the fight on the ground, happy to keep the fight standing up, any way you want to do it, I think there's some real challenges there. But on the other side for Oliveira, he's in one of these sweet spots where his name is coming up. And he goes out there and gets a win on TV, on ESPN over Kevin Lee. It's going to mean something. It's going to mean something in a hurry. So, yeah, Oliveira's biting off a little bit more than he can chew. That's true. But with big risk comes big reward. I like the fight, and now we know where Kevin Lee fits in.